Welcome to the Virtual Pathfinder channel. In this video I will show an astrophotography setup for shooting an image of the ring nebula M57 using a 150mm lens on a Micro Four Thirds camera. This is the 45 to 150mm Panasonic Lumix lens used. At 150mm focal length, the aperture ratio is f5.6, which is not very bright for a camera lens, but relatively bright compared to ordinary telescopes, which have longer focal lengths. The good thing about this lens is that it weighs just over 200 grams and it is very small and fits in a pocket of a jacket. Apart from astrophotography, it can be used for all kinds of photography, such as portraits and wildlife. When shooting deep sky objects, it's necessary to make long exposures. For that reason, it's very important to have a totally stable tripod as well as a star tracker, which follows the relative movement of the stars in the sky caused by Earth rotation. The tripod used in this video is a stable tripod for ordinary photography, and the star tracker used is Vixen Polari. I may do a separate video about this star tracker, which is one of the most surprisingly useful products I ever bought. I powered the star tracker using an external power bank hanging under the central column of the tripod. The camera is attached to the star tracker with a tripod ball head, which can point the camera in any direction. Before starting, it is necessary to locate the object in the sky using a Stellarium app. In this video I used Sky Safari Pro. When searching the object, a description comes up and it's possible to center the object in the display. As can be seen, the ring nebula is next to the bright star Vega, which is relatively easy to find. The only problem is that the ring nebula is very small and that this lens has relatively short focal length. Another problem is that the lens has small aperture, which results in lower optical resolution compared to a telescope. It is 1.4 times 1.1 arc minutes, which should be possible to resolve. The visual magnitude is 8.8, which is a bit faint but still possible to image with a bit over 1 minute exposure. To capture the ring nebula, I used an Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II Micro Four Thirds camera. This camera can be remote controlled using the OI Share app for iOS. In my case, I used it on an iPad using ISO set to 1600, which for some reason is the maximum for this app. The exposure is set at live time, which means that it can be started by clicking on a start button and later stopped by clicking on a stop button. That is very useful when doing long exposures, since the display shows the brightness of the image as the exposure progresses. In this case, I made 60 to 75 seconds exposures. The resulting images look very good, but I had switched off the noise reduction, so there's a bit of noise in them. If I had more time, I would have shot at least 10 frames and stacked them to reduce noise, but it was late and I had to go to bed. Still, I think the images look good, no star trails, and even the small stars look very nice and round. As mentioned earlier, the only problem is that the ring nebula is very small and I need to crop the image down to pixel level to magnify it. The ring nebula is 2,570 light years from Earth. It has a visual magnitude of 8.8. It is illuminated by a very faint central white dwarf with a magnitude of 15.75, which is not possible to see unless you have a very big telescope. Finally, I will compare the image of the ring nebula shot with this zoom lens to an image shot through a refractor telescope. The telescope used was a Skywatcher Evostar 72 ED with 420mm focal length. As can be seen in the image, the larger magnification makes the telescope image less pixelated and it reveals much more details since the telescope also has about 50% wider aperture. Still, the image shot with the lens reveals the ring shape and some of the colors while giving more of a wide field view of the neighborhood. Although this kind of lens cannot resolve much details of small objects, it can definitely be used for wide field astrophotography. This lens is also one of the cheapest lenses I have, which is another good thing about it. I like light and compact equipment which can be set up relatively easily. That means that it will be used often. Astrophotography is demanding. Anything that can make the process easy is welcome. That was all for now. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to this channel. I will make more videos about astronomy and space exploration soon. Until then, have a nice week.